Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, it's Zickety Z here with your first Smackdown Live review. Tonight we are in San Antonio, Texas, and we're going to get right into this, exactly how the entire show went. So we start out with a highlight clip of Styles celebrating his United States Championship win at Madison Square Garden. And then we see him pin Kevin Owens, and then we see AJ Styles appear in the ring to cut a promo. He brings up a previous United States Open challenge that John Cena did, and Styles says he's going to bring it back. He said that the title has been long overlooked, and the man that wears the title is the best wrestler in the world. And so then we have AJ Styles issue the AJ Styles U.S. Open Championship Challenge, and John Cena appears. No ref, but we have John Cena appear, and then John Cena makes a remark saying, "This is probably for everyone but me, right?" And Styles retorts with, "No, it's especially for you." And so they go back and forth, and then they get a referee down to the ring, and just as the bell is about to ring for the match to start, Kevin Owens appears, and he basically says that nobody wants to see another stupid Styles Cena match. We've seen it before, too many times, over and over, and nobody wants to see that anymore. And so then Owens says to Cena, nobody wants to see you, so why don't you do us all a favor and leave? And then Cena retorts saying, "Nobody wants to see me, huh? Well, you can't see me." A little pun there. It was a little cheesy, but it is what it is. And he says, either stand there and talk or get in the ring and do something. But just know that if you do, I'm gonna run through you. And then he turns to Styles and he says, and I'm gonna run through you too. This leads to a breakdown in the ring. Rusev comes out of the stands and he attacks Cena. Owens attacks Styles. And then we get Rusev and Owens retreating to the back after Rusev applies the oh, good gravy. What is his submission move? The Accolade. He applies the Accolade to Cena, and then Styles breaks it up, and then Rusev and Owens retreat to the back. This leads to a match between Jinder Mahal and Ty Dillinger. Where's he been? Who knows? But he's on the show. So we get a minute and a half into the match. They go to commercial break. Now, granted, with Smackdown Live, they have the side-by-side viewing with the match in a smaller panel and then a bigger panel for the commercials. And so we get 3 minutes of commercials, and they come back to the match. Jinder was dominating at a methodical pace for a majority of the commercial break. This match goes 6.5 minutes, and half of it was on commercial with no play-by-play. Jinder Mahal hits the Colossus. 1, 2, 3. Mahal gets the mic after he's done with the match, and he says that he's going to bring hell to Orton next week, and we get a next week we'll see the Punjabi prison the Punjabi prison. The actual structure itself will be at the go home show before Battleground. Now we have Jey Uso against Xavier Woods. This match was pointless. It maybe lasted 3 minutes with everything that transpired. Big E, Kofi, and Uso end up in the ring after Jimmy sweeps out Xavier's legs when he's going into the ropes. So they all, Big E, Kofi, and Jimmy, get sent to the back. Jey Uso gets hung up on the middle rope. Xavier Woods hits a top rope elbow drop. Pinfall victory for Xavier Woods. Nothing special. We didn't see a lot of wrestling tonight. Not a lot of wrestling. A lot of promos. A lot of backstage segments. Excuse me. Okay. We have a backstage women's segment that follows. It starts out with Shane McMahon. He's on his phone. I'm assuming talking to Daniel Bryan. I don't know. And all of Naomi comes and she's like, "Here's who am I gonna face at Battleground, or at SummerSlam, or whoever, or whatever it's gonna be." And Shane says, "This is what we're gonna do." After all of the women kind of come into the backstage area, and they all plead their case. And so at Battleground, we're gonna see a fatal 5-way elimination #1 contenders match, and the winner will face Naomi at SummerSlam, not Battleground. Then Carmella comes in after all the other women leave, and she has a piece of paper from her attorney that petitions that Shane reinstate James Ellsworth. And so Shane takes a look at it, and then he rips it up, and he says, "Give this to your attorney. The decision stands." Nothing special. Moving on. Let me find where I am in my notes. Okay, here we go. Another backstage segment with Baron Corbin. And he kind of goes on to talk about how Shinsuke attacked him, and how he says that Shinsuke should fear him. And then he says tonight in their scheduled match, it's going to be Sayonara Nakamura. We go now to the match. Shinsuke comes out. The crowd's kind of dead. I've never seen the crowd react like that to Nakamura. Does his full entrance. Not a lot of excitement. Not a lot of excitement. Baron makes his entrance, and he's about to get in the ring. Nakamura blindsides him before the bell. They fight out into the crowd. Then they bring it back ringside. Match doesn't take place. I'm assuming they're building up towards a match for the briefcase. I don't see why. Money in the Bank briefcase is for heels. It's not as effective when a babyface cashes in. The only 2 times it was effective is when Rob Van Dam did it to Cena, and he said, "I want my championship match in Philadelphia in front of the ECW crowd. And he beat him. That was great. That was scheduled ahead. But this is supposed to be it's generally cashed in after the champ's retained and he's been through a grueling match. And you'll see the holder of the briefcase come in and hit his finisher as the champ tries to stand up, and then we get a quick pinfall. It's most effective that way. The best one, obviously, is when Rollins cashed in at WrestleMania 31 after, during the main event with Reigns and Lesnar. The only other time that we had a cash in on as a babyface was with John Cena, and he did the same thing as Rob Van Dam. He said, "I want my match at such and such a time," and he cashed in as well. Nakamura doesn't need the briefcase. He doesn't need it. Let this feud go over. Let Corbin keep his briefcase in some sort of fluke win scenario, DQ, whatever it is. Both competitors can look strong. Nakamura doesn't have to take a pinfall. He shouldn't take a pinfall. We move on later into the year. Let Corbin cash in. Let Styles take the title off of Corbin as we move closer to WrestleMania. And then let Styles and Nakamura go at it at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. It's got to happen. It's the biggest show of the year. You want the best matches on the biggest show. The matches, it sells itself. And this is one of the rare occasions where a face versus face matchup works. Let them go out, let them battle for like 30 minutes, and put on a real quality match. It doesn't need to be hyped. It will be, because it'll be WrestleMania, but it doesn't need it. The match sells itself. Nakamura and Styles are both superstars. Nakamura doesn't need the briefcase. Styles doesn't need the briefcase. Leave it to a heel. Let the heel cash in. Moving on. Backstage segment. You see Styles sitting in a chair. Cena comes into the room, and Cena makes mention of the open challenge again and thinks that he should be mindful of it and reconsider, especially with Cena being around, knowing that he's going to accept that challenge. But they talk about the scuffle that took place earlier on in the show, and they said they're going to handle their situation at a later time. But tonight, Cena says to Styles, "I got your back." And you hear Styles mutter, "Yeah, and I already had yours." So then now we move on to Becky Lynch and Charlotte versus Natalya and Tamina, which was scheduled by Shane McMahon following that backstage segment. Nothing too exciting here. Lana comes to the ring in the middle of the match, and she distracts Charlotte. Natalya, who's who's the legal woman in the match, blind tag to Tamina, and then Tamina pins Charlotte. Don't need to dig into it. It's a fatal five-way. They're all we're gonna get matches in combinations of the five women, and that'll be that. Now we go to Maria Kanellis. She's walking down the hallway in the back somewhere, and she knocks on the door of the men's locker room. Chad Gable answers the knock, and he's like, what do you want? And Maria's looking for Sammy because she wants him to apologize for constantly running in or interrupting Maria and Mike's thing, whatever it is that they're doing. This is going to lead to a match, obviously, between Sammy and Mike Bennett, Kanellis, whatever. And it's going to be for Kanellis to defend his wife's honor or something of that nature. So then we kind of move away after Maria walks away from the locker room. And we see Sami Zayn approach Maria and Mike, who are doing this weird thing with a flower in the hallway next to a vase full of flowers. Maria wants Sammy to apologize for interrupting constantly, and Sammy's like, I've already apologized. I don't need to apologize anymore. I've apologized twice. I shouldn't apologize at all. And then he takes a shot at Mike, and he's like, are you even a wrestler? Like, do you actually wrestle for the company? Like, what are you doing here? And then Maria bitch slapped Sammy. Got him good. Mike follows it up by smashing the vase of flowers over his head. And Maria kind of kneels over Sammy as he's laying on the ground. And she says, "This was brought to you by the power of love." How sweet. Okay. Then we're transitioning into a Fashion Files segment, and we get the announcement that Nakamura and Corbin will fight one-on-one at Battleground. Not for the briefcase. Maybe we see that happen next week and we get a challenge there. Once again, doesn't need to happen. It's not necessary. So now we go to the Fashion Files segment, and they kind of play this little introduction video for the Sexy Fashion Rangers, Fandango and Tyler Breeze. I love these segments. They're entertaining. And then we pan to Fandango and Tyler Breeze, and they're dressed up as cowboys. And they're discussing their plan for extracting the information on who to find out who their attackers were. And so Fandango approaches Zack Ryder on this little toy horse on a pole. And Tyler Breeze walks in, and he's got himself tangled in this lasso. The lasso of truth, as a matter of fact. And so if you were to be caught in this lasso, you wouldn't be able to tell a lie. And so Ryder's like, "You can't be serious." And Tyler's like, "Try me." So he asks him a question. What does he ask him? He asks him, when you go undercover, do you wear a bra? And Tyler Breeze says, "Of course. What do you think I am, a hippie?" This leads to Mojo Rawley walking in, and there's some confrontation between Ryder and him because Ryder was eliminated by Mojo during the Independence Day Battle Royal. And Mojo's like, "Look, dude, it was a battle royal. There's only one winner. You know, we have a bigger plan here. We're trying to become number one contenders for the tag titles." So he walks away. Ryder makes a comment that we all need to get back to reality. And we noticed that the horse that was set up on a ladder was gone. Somebody stole Fandango's horse. And this kind of leads to some confusion. They're angry, and then they come to a conclusion that it was ghosts, aliens, or alien ghosts. And then we go back to the ring, to the announcer's desk, and JBL states that he's going to burn his cowboy hat. It was comical. It was good. I like it. It's just sad that Fandango and Tyler Breeze are being put in this situation because they're great workers, but they're not they're not getting a chance to be involved in the title scene. And eventually, I think they should. Once this mystery's been solved about who their attackers really are. So now we go to the main event. AJ Styles and John Cena versus Kevin Owens and Rusev. I'm not a big fan of tag team matches like this ending a show, but it is what it is. Match starts to break down. Cena gets Owens up for an attitude adjustment. Rusev enters the ring, hits him with a super kick, followed up by a phenomenal forearm to Rusev by Styles. A Pele kick to Owens by Styles, who falls onto the shoulders of Owens for an attitude adjustment, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. Styles and Cena win. Styles and Cena end the show as they go off the air. They end it with a stare down. So I guess next week we'll get the first AJ Styles United States Open Challenge match between him and Cena. Maybe not. I don't know. Not a big deal. Styles will retain. It'll be Owens and Styles at Battleground for the United States Championship. Rusev and Cena in a flag match. Who cares? And that was SmackDown. So we had a lot of backstage segments and promos, and not a lot of wrestling. It was an okay show. Not their best work. Didn't beat Raw this week, I don't think. In my opinion, it wasn't better than Raw. Raw was decent on Monday night. This was just par for the course. Nothing special here. Next week, they're in Alabama, the home state of AJ Styles, in the go-home show for Battleground. And this is where we'll leave it. You know, we'll find out what happens next week on SmackDown, leading into Battleground next Sunday. That's going to wrap up the review. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you have any advice, suggestions, comments that you'd like to make to me to help me make my product better. And be sure to subscribe and share it around if you like it. So moving on towards what I have in the future here. I'm not my training's not going to be happening this week, so that's going to be happening at the end of July now. So I will be doing a review of NXT tomorrow night. After that goes off the air, I will have Raw review next week, SmackDown review next week, NXT next week, and then I will do a previews and predictions show for Battleground, and then I will do a review for Battleground after it goes off the air on Sunday, after next Sunday. So other than that, I'm going to push out more content as far as 2K gameplay goes, as well as some Call of Duty. So stay tuned for that. But until next time, this is Zickety Z signing off. Take care, guys.